Hello, hello friends. Kohera Senior once more. Good evening. Here in Kenya it is actually 5 o'clock in the evening. How have you been all the way? Wherever you are. Let me hope that you are very peaceful, you are very fine, you are doing well. I'm always actually wishing you the best and praying for each and every friend of mine so that we can be peaceful, healthy, and we continue sharing. Good, ladies and gentlemen, Kohera Senior once more. May I give my sincere thanks to my organic friends who have always stood with me and actually who have always advised me, commented, liked, and shared my videos. And may I tell you that despite that I'm still young, I'm pushing. With your support, I believe we are going to go through. I really thank. I have very, very organic friends whom I don't want to mention here. And there are so many from different countries. And surely, ladies and gentlemen, had I powers, I could meet each and every one of you. I cannot mention your names, you know yourselves. And I don't know, but in the glory of God, I believe I will not get so old and retire from YouTube before I meet some of you. Let us pray that one day God will give us way until some of you come and reach where I live, here in Kenya, here in Korea, here in East Africa. So, ladies and gentlemen, surely I'm very proud of you. Okay, yesterday we were talking about how some people behave during Christmas and the New Year. And as I told you, there are some queer characters who actually destroy the name of Christmas Day to do their own selfish, to fulfill their own selfish goals, which actually are totally opposite to the biblical way of life in terms of Christmas. For today, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like sharing with you our traditional burial, how traditionally when a family is grieved, one of their members happened to unlive, they have the responsibility of actually burying that lover, one of them, the deceased. Here, you know, the gender, normally, we are normally either a male or a female. This person who has passed away belongs to a particular clan. There is that nuclear clan of that deceased person. When such a person used to pass out or pass away or die, there were clan elders in that family. Those are the people who actually, under the leadership of the chief clan elder, could convene and actually find the way how they are going to bury their deceased. Here, there are two types of deaths. There is a natural death. A natural death, I mean, this is a person who got sick. People were going to actually console him. People are going to comfort him. People, all sorts of people came to console this person by actually wishing him or her a quick recovery, wishing that this person will eventually become normal. But it goes until it becomes hard for the person to continue living, so he or she passes away. So if it were a man who has died naturally, a man, I mean, any male who has been circumcised, that is a man. But the youth, the uncircumcised youth, were not actually recognized as men. Those were boys and girls. So this gentleman who passed away naturally was to be buried inside a homestead where the cattle live. Remember, we have the cattle shed right away in the middle of our surrounding houses inside. There is only one entrance from down here. So inside there, these are traditional houses surrounding, and here is an entrance. So this gentleman was to be buried inside the homestead. If it was a man, he was to be buried on the right side of the homestead. The right side, I mean, when you are coming from down, when you are entering the homestead from down here, going upwards. But if it was a lady, she was buried on the left side. Remember, these people were to be, even if they die 3 or 4, they were all to be buried inside the homestead. There are some deaths which are not natural. Say, somebody has been killed by an animal. Somebody has been bitten by a snake. Somebody has been drowned by water and he is found. Somebody went to steal cattle. Unfortunately, he was killed by the owner of the cattle, but he was brought home. Those are what we call unnatural deaths or accidents. Such persons were not buried inside the boma because they could bring bad spirits in the family. So they were buried outside the compound of the boma. If it were a man, he was buried on the right side of the compound. If it were a lady, she was buried outside on the left side of the boma. This one brings, you remember, I do not know you people there. You know, in our tradition, even a husband and a wife, they have a bed. The right side of the bed is a man's side. I don't know in Europe if that is what's taking place. I've never married a lady. And the left side of the bed belongs to the lady or wife, they always argue. In my culture, they argue that, okay, uh, a woman was part of a man, so this left rib is your wife's rib, so she has to be on the left, and you are the man, you are on the right. So these people, if there was a natural death, burial was done on the right side of a man or left side of a lady, of a homestead, if it was a lady. And natural death, they were buried out. And the natural deaths, they were buried inside the home. Okay, now uh, let me show you how these people were buried. The young men were responsible by digging the grave wherever it was necessary, if it is inside the home or outside. Young men, the energetic men. But the elders were always seated somewhere waiting for the young men to dig enough depth of the grave. So here comes a time of burial. Men were buried totally naked. Women were wrapped. There were some soft cow skins. Cow skins were wrapped around their waists. And when she is laid facing the left side. That is, facing the left side, and her legs straight away. If it was a man, he was laid totally naked. I'm talking about no man was supposed to be buried having any cloth or any skin. Remember, there were no clothes by then. Most of the old men were walking with blankets, which had been brought by the Europeans by then. So the man was actually buried facing on the right side. Now, once this gentleman was lowered down to the grave, there are 5 men who will enter inside that grave naked. Naked, get it right. That is cultural. They will enter naked. Then the other young men who are surrounding them will be pushing that soil near them, and this old man will be burying that man like this. This is the grave here, and these are the soils, the banks of the soil, and then they will be burying. When remember they are naked, and they are 5. They are 5 because there are 5 days they are going to mourn that man. If it were a lady, the same men were supposed to go inside, but 4 of them, because that lady will be mourned for 4 days, and then they will bury that lady like that. All directions, like so, like so. And then those people who entered the grave will not take bath until they shave their hair. They will, if it was a man, they was to stay without taking any bath for 5 good days. Then now on the 5th day is when now the shaving takes place. Shaving takes place. If it were a lady, 4 days, and then shaving takes place. And from the day of burial, no one is supposed to do any external work, like going to the shamba, like doing any business. No, you were there. And each and every member of that family was to shave. You had to shave the hair. And then now, on the 5th day, is when now the whole clan converges together, and now they discuss. If it were a man who had many wives, then that is the day of distributing his wealth to his different women. If it were a woman who left children, that is the day when those children will be distributed to different mothers so that they could take care of those children. Now, the day, if it were a young lady, she was handed over to a man who will take care of her. This is the day if it were a youth who had not yet married but circumcised. The elders chose one of the youth's brothers of his who will marry on behalf of him and raise his family. But the uncircumcised youth and uncircumcised girls and boys actually were just buried and forgotten. They were not counted as family, as the people who could have so nobody could marry on behalf of them. Okay, now no woman was supposed to go near the grave, nor a child. No. During that traditional burial, no woman was supposed to go around. And in our culture, there was even no food being cooked. Nothing. People were grieving. People were very sorrowful. People were, the moods were so there was nothing like food, like eating, like doing what. No, the mood of the family was so quiet and calm. You could only hear women crying in their houses. But once they start burying, it was also an abomination to hear any cry, a loud cry. No woman was supposed to outcry when the burial was going on. Remember, there were no spades. But let us now come back here and actually compare the current system of burial. Remember, we are actually bordered by the Luos. The Luos are our neighbors. The Luo community has actually spread its assimilation system into Korea. Nowadays, when somebody dies, like Kohera dies here, because Kohera is a well-known figure, and Kohera has children, Kohera has so many people will come without any invitation, and so many oxen and bulls will be slaughtered. And that is the day you will find people, you may think it is actually a wedding ceremony when it is a burial. It is only my wife and my close children who feel pain will continue crying for me. But the rest, they are actually assuming as if there is nothing has gone wrong. So this current system of burial is actually very different from the traditional one. These ones are conducted by pastors. There are no elders, and many foods. In fact, it has become like a wedding, a marriage wedding. I don't know what's happening. So this is the time now where there is a problem. During the burial day, so many politicians come. Okay, Kohera has died. He has left a widow. So people started comforting Sarah and my elder wife. Oh, we shall do this, we shall do this, we shall do this. They give a lot of false promises, but they have never fulfilled whatever they are always promising. This is the time when you, because you remember now, those traditional morals have been evaded. There is no more those selection of a man who will take care of this woman. Nowadays, women have freedom of love, freedom of choice, freedom of what. So they always choose whom they want, but not really the clan. So what has happened is that that is why you find so many families who have been left by their loved ones are very poor because, for example, if I die, uh, somebody who is not related to me will stand in front of the burial day and address the audience that, okay, Kohera has been so close to me, is my friend, is so and so and so. So he assures Sarah that, okay, Sarah, I'm going to take care of you. I'll take the remaining children to school, and I'll be very much responsible, and so forth and so forth. But in the real sense, what this man is targeting is what Mr. Kohera left for Sarah. If I left some little money in the account, if I left some animals to take care of my children, if I left anything, this man is targeting that property. He will come, he will start by, making sure that he has controlled the minds of my wife. And then now he will start selling and eating. After that, so many people have run away and they have left these widows and their children without anything. So actually that is a very queer behavior. And in this particular day again, you find, I have said that there are so many bulls which are slaughtered. Some people are gluttons, they grumble. They grumble for food, they grumble for rice, they grumble for whatever. Even the offerings, the friends have contributed during the burial. There is a time when they say, okay, let us leave something small for this family so that they can continue maybe taking a little tea for a while. This, the so-called close man who has actually targeted my wife, will make sure that he goes with that amount of money. So it has become so bad. It has brought so bad picture. That is why you find in my area here, those people, those ladies who are widows, are actually hustling for their own. There is nobody by their sides, with an exception of the government, which has introduced the educational bursary for free. They have said free education, so they pay some fraction of school fees to these orphan children. Otherwise, had it not been the government, then actually they could be living in a very bad state. And this one now, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of system which has come from the Luo land has introduced these ladies to be so loose, because the widows, because they are not controlled by the clan. They no longer fear Mr. Kohera that, oh, Mr. Kohera, I have to listen and respect him. They don't do that. So they have now, these people have become so loose. So many of our young ladies have abandoned their families, their children. They have left them to their mothers, to their relatives, because life here in Kenya, in Kuria, is very tough. Unless it is a woman who was brought up with strict rules, so many of them are very lousy and they are working in bars. They are doing, and so many are being brought home after dying out of HIV/AIDS. The other day I was showing you in the hospital that there is even in Korea, though the rate is not very high, but there are so many who have been infected, and they have also uh, that kind of infection has affected the whole family, and people are languishing in poverty, and actually very hard. So there is a very hard life. Uh, Remember here, sincerely, a man or a woman with children can go for seven good days, that is a whole week, without having 100 shillings Kenyan money. That Kenyan money has become so hard to get, and you also get it, but its value is but nowadays it has started improving because $1 is around 130 shillings in Kenyan money. It had actually uh, dropped up to 200, over 200 shillings per dollar before the current administration entered. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I say once more, thank you very much. And that is what I felt that I should share with you. Our topic today actually is our traditional burial and behavior inside the burial period. Otherwise, may I once more thank you so much and beg you once more to continue supporting me until you hold my hand. You have heard I'm saying that in Kenya and in Korea here, life is tough. Otherwise, thank you. Let us meet in the next video. Thank you. Thank you so much.